Welcome back to a new video. So I think this has 3 workouts in it. The only thing I didn't record was some overhead presses that I did in one of the mornings where I worked up to 145 pounds for 3 sets of 5. So it's like 65 kilos, something around there. And I decided, and I'll probably continue to do that, to have a potential morning session. But the morning session would be something like that, overhead pressing. I'm going to have one tomorrow, but it's going to be focused on mobility and hypertrophy. I've also added in push-ups, not every night, but some nights before I go to bed. And the goal with that is to just accumulate volume with that. Less so, honestly, to work on my chest in particular, but more so just to give myself some extra shoulder work with that kind of the front delt area. And I think it'll just be good for shoulder health in general. Plus, obviously, I don't really do any chest stuff, so it will probably get a pretty decent effect with it. It already seems like my chest is more full. I don't know, maybe it's just placebo, but I always seem to respond well to chest exercises. Even when I was powerlifting, I didn't really do any accessories besides, I just bench pressed. I didn't really do anything else besides that, because my chest always got a crazy pump from it. But that's neither here nor there, because I don't bodybuild, nor do I do powerlifting, nor do I bench press. But these were some hang snatches. So this was the session I did on Monday. And this was one where I actually went out with some old school friends later in this evening. I actually was almost really late. I thought the place was a lot closer. Ended up being a little bit further, but I wasn't too late. Only about 5 minutes. And most everyone else was fashionably late as well. But that was a real fun time. So I trained a little bit earlier in the day and sweating to death. It's really just been a heat wave recently. I don't know. I've seen memes about like the corn summers, but I think it's just this particular week or whatever. It's just been super hot. So the fatigue has been increasing, or at least the biggest thing I've noticed, training in this heat is not so much that like you can't train, but the stamina that you have for the training session tends to be a little bit less than what it is normally. You just kind of get gassed out a little bit earlier, which happened in the next session. This one was a pretty easy and quick one because I did the front squats the previous day. I didn't have anything to do after this exercise, so I only had these hang lifts to do, which ended up being a pretty good day. I theoretically could do the front squats that I did yesterday or on Sunday in the morning on a particular day. I did order some squat stands for the house, so inside my one guest room I have a platform and a full setup. So in theory, I could do squats and whatever in there. What I mostly have gotten that for was for the winter months. If there is a session, let's say I'm just front squatting, I don't have to drive 30 minutes in the gym in the winter. I can just do squats at my house, and I don't have to go out to the shed to fight the temperatures. I can be in the heat in the house. So just have that advantage there. Plus, then in the long-term context, I have all the materials of a platform that's not going to be weathered down from being out in the shed. And so if I need to replace the platform, I actually have an additional middle piece of wood as well. So I have a lot of pieces that I can use to replace wood if it starts to get worn down. The right side of the platform is starting to get a little bit of a divot, which is interesting because it's not the rubber. I think it's the wood. Probably potentially the cement all the way down is having a little bit of issue. It's not really deep enough to create a thing, but also the wood in the middle is bowed up slightly. I think I've talked about this before. It's nothing that's too serious. This was actually a really cool session. So I was originally planning just doing regular reps, and I was warming up with the snatch push presses. So this was the day I did the overhead press in the morning, and then came out and did the pressing work. But I just warmed up with the touch and go rep, or like the continuous reps, and I decided just to do that for all of the reps. So I will probably have a session like this, or maybe this will just be the overhead session of the week. I haven't really decided how I want the rest of the week to go. I know tomorrow will be a clean and jerk focus day, so this might just be how this day goes, to where it's just lighter, but I'm doing all the reps touch and go like this, which is challenging as far as keeping the bar balanced, but also the catching and the reversing of the bar back up. It's felt really good. Like I felt like I was moving fast, which obviously it's only 90 kilos, but I felt athletic, which is it's nice to feel sometimes. And that's kind of the advantage that I'm feeling this week is, with those hang snatches and stuff, like I'm lifting lighter weights and trying to move them faster. So I'm able to just try to work on the technique and feel fresher for when I'm pushing in these more difficult sessions. Although I think I've lost a couple of pounds because I'm starting to get a little bit more achy in general. And that's usually, my hydration's been really good, so I know it's not that. But I think I've just fallen in love with the chicken breast and the Raisin Cane sauce that I'm making, and I'm not actually eating enough calories overall. Getting enough protein most days, but the total calories I need to increase. So I actually made some rice, and so make sure I just have that just so I have enough calories so I'm not wasting away. But this is where I really felt the fatigue on this particular day was with these snatch pulls when I get to the 120. I was originally actually going to do, I went back and forth. I was going to do 5 sets of 3. I was like, I'll just do 3 sets of 5. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do one giant set. So I was going to do one regular pull and then do 9 hang pulls below the knee, and did the one, and you just see eventually after you're doing a couple, I didn't really get them into a good rhythm. You see there, I got them into a little bit of rhythm, but then I did one more and then just was completely gassed. I was checked out. It was that was just the heat got to me, and just made me extra fatigued there. This was a session I did today where the focus was to do snatches and front squats. I originally was going to do waves, and I kind of still did waves, but it was going to be 100, 105, 110 originally, and do that for multiple waves. I decided to do doubles building up. I was hoping to do a double with 110, but it was just too difficult of a weight, and I decided to do 100 for a double, and then I made 100 for a difficult single, went back to 100 where I made a rep, missed the second, missed 110, and then waved back down and made 100 for a double, and then made 110. So pretty decent session as far as snatching went, but it was nice just to have snatches and not have to worry about doing clean and jerks and stuff after. So I definitely like that. I was able to really kind of focus in on the lift, really just trying to emphasize the left arm and trying to be aggressive with it pulling up and back. And as I did that better, the reps felt better. I was also looking at my pull from the floor and trying to make sure that I'm not dipping my hips down too much, I guess, but just trying to be more patient in that initial pull so I'm not pushing the bar away. Because I think sometimes that I can bump it away with my legs a little bit, and obviously that can throw everything off. Really on the last double that I did with 100, I really felt like technically that felt the best. And then the last 100 felt pretty decent. It was still a little bit earlier. There's a miss there, and then here's the miss with 110. I ended up going pretty heavy on front squats as well. I originally was thinking of doing 5 sets of 3 like I did earlier in the week, but I didn't want to do all that volume again, and I was still pretty I just didn't feel like doing 5 sets of 3, frankly, and I just decided it would be good to have a volume day and a front squat day. And it kind of gets to the crux of the video, or the title of the video, is I'm just getting into the groove of what I want this week to look like and what this kind of like 3-week progression, because I really like having these like 3-week mini blocks that I'm pushing up each week, but I'm just trying to make it so I have more just regular lifts in it, and it's not just a day like you saw with that push press day where there's less of those days and more just I'm snatching today and then a clean and jerk day, so more of the classics with that. And then so I'm sure there'll be more adjustments, but the general idea is still there. I most likely won't have many morning sessions. If I do, they'll be based probably around cardio and mobility and stuff like that, but I don't imagine there'll be very many, especially once the school year starts. But it'll be nice to know that I can, like, I'll have things in the house and I'll have the ability to do that, so I won't have to worry about going out to the shed in the morning and doing all that. I can set everything up in the morning and just go out walk into the other room and do whatever exercise there. And if I did presses or whatever, that's fine, but was really hoping there at the end that I could do that 180 for 3. That would have been a PR triple. I didn't have a belt on either, so I actually don't know what my best belted double front squat is. Obviously not something I'm going to keep track of too much, but I'm certainly happy to hit 180 for a double in any context, especially with kind of how achy and just fatigued at that point that I was. And that fact that, my best triple or my best double is 183. So, I mean, I'm right close to there as far as, my best reps and front squat. And the triple wasn't really that close, obviously, but, we're getting there and it's moving in the right direction. So we'll see how the rest of the week ends up turning out. I think, the first day that students are back is August 14th, but I envision that week before that. So let me pull open the calendar there. I had to start paying attention to those dates more. So I would imagine that there might be something next week. I'll have to pay attention to to stuff, because the 14th, or it could just be all of that week, like the 11th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. It could just be a full week there. And that next week could just be for new hires and stuff. That's probably what I'm remembering from last year. They'll let me know. But yeah, once the 14th is here, it'll be a pretty easy couple of days to start, since not all the students start at once. They transition them in. But then it'll be rocking and rolling. And in a sense, I'm excited to get back into the routine of the school year. Like, I love summer break and, not having to do anything. But it's a nice feeling. I didn't always have this feeling in my first couple of years of teaching, to where, like, I'm not worried about summer break over. Like, I'm in the groove of, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm at. I know how it's going to go. I know the routine. I still have to meet my teaching partner, and, getting to, start building that working relationship with that guy, and just getting that flow. But, I'm not worried about that really at all. And, it's be same old thing. And as you can tell from all the lifting I do, and I do the same things all the time, I like routines. And that's why teaching works well for me. It's the same thing all the time. And the better you get at the routines, the better you get at teaching in a lot of ways. But anywho, that's enough rambling for me here at the end. I've also been putting a lot of good work on my other two channels. I don't know if you know that I do those, the chess channel, where I try to play chess instead of live streaming as much. I just put videos on there. And then one where I play the baseball game, which I played a couple of times live on here. So I might still go live occasionally on here and playing chess mostly, probably. But on those channels, it's kind of more focused on that. So if you can't get enough of me, I suppose you can go over there and get even more. But I'm sure I'll have plenty of stuff for lifting. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. But anywho, now it's truly it. So made it to this point, I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all on the next one. Peace.